Yo guys, welcome back to a brand new video and another episode of my F1 2019 career mode here today for the finale of Season 2 and the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And guys, this is it, the first race with the new 1.08 patch as well, with the new car updates, and we finally got the 90th anniversary Ferrari for this episode and the finale of this season. If you guys also missed the last race at Brazil, go watch it guys, as it sets up this race quite nicely, especially for the championship battle between the Red Bulls, by clicking the link in the top right corner of the screen. But for this weekend, we've got nice sunny conditions, and also there's rumours in the paddock that Devon Butler might actually go to Williams and move away from Mercedes going into next season. And the reason that's happening is for two reasons. One, because he wants to go into a better car, but two, Williams lately have shown incredible signs of really pushing forward with development. If you look where they started the season and look where they are this race with their massive upgrade package they've brought for this race, Williams are a serious contender, and it could be a good prospect for Devon Butler to switch from Mercedes to Williams for Season 3. So that could be quite interesting, because we've got Weber already in the Red Bull, and he's, I want to say, 90% certain he's going to win the championship today, because he's 18 points clear of Hamilton going into this finale race. Also, you know, Devon needs to improve. He wants to go into a better car, and what's going to happen is I'm going to be the one that's got the worst car out of the three of them, and going into the Season 3 we're going to be on the back foot. But hopefully, as you guys saw in the last episode, with the 6,000 point investment, 6,000 R&D point investment made in the last episode, and the more points we're going to add in this episode, hopefully with that we can take a massive step forward next season, because, you know, we've been pretty poor, and we need to try and improve and really pick up the pace in this Ferrari car. And hopefully Season 3 is the way, you know, is the time when things turn around, because as things stand, we've been with Ferrari for 2 seasons now, and we do have a Constructors' Championship to our name from Season 1, but we have missed out on the Drivers' Championship both last season and this season. And I want to try and achieve my mission with Ferrari, which is to try and win both championships in the same season and firmly put Ferrari back on top. You know, they might not be the quickest car in the R&D, but, you know, at least they win the championship and they're a consistent challenger, which is what I want. So, yeah, that's the target, and I don't want to rest until I achieve that. So hopefully, you know, from our side of things, going into Season 3, we do the right thing. And in the last episode, we actually bought lots of department quality and efficiency upgrades, and we also bought a ultimate chassis upgrade, which is going to be on the way for Australia. And I think we've got about 500 points left over, and we're going to add to that in this episode. You guys saw a moment ago in practice, we actually done all the practice programs, and we actually scored a maximum 325 points out of 325, and we're going to add some more points after this qualifying session, and also after the race. And we should also get, I believe, a bonus for the team goals, which is around 600 points, and also we should get the end of season bonus, which is around 2,000 points. So hopefully coming into the episode we should have a nice decent amount of points to really invest into next season's R&D package. But first of all, let's tackle qualifying. Let's see how we get on. First of all, this is Q1, and this was my first lap in the session. And I say first lap because in the last couple of sessions we've had to go more than once in Q1, because we've been on the brink of elimination in the first part of qualifying. And this session was no different. I'm running 104% AI here, which is the exact same difficulty I've run for the last 3 races, for this one, Brazil, and also USA. And around here, sectors 1 and 2 are fine, but I'd lose about 0.8 to a second to the AI in the final sector. And obviously, you know, if you take into account in real life, the Ferrari is not very good through corners. Sector 3 is a weak point for this car, and we do struggle. You can see we crossed the line 1.7 off the pace, P14, just behind Sebastian Vettel. So what I did was I had enough fuel in the car, so I actually had a cool down lap and slowed it down. And then I went out again, or not went out again, I stayed out. I went for another lap on the same set of tyres on the exact same run. I didn't pit in, and I think I knew I had more pace in these tyres, and they were about 7 to 8% worn, so I knew I could get a decent lap out of them once again. And you can see here, coming towards the end of the lap now, on my second attempt on these same tyres and fuel, we are about 1.5 tenths up, and we cross the line. We do improve 2 positions to P12, and I wasn't sure if that would be enough, but ultimately it turned out to be enough, and we did actually get through into Q2 in P13. Sebastian Vettel actually improved to P11, and both of us fighting for a Q2 spot in the Ferraris, but it is what it is. You know, you guys saw on the R&D graph at the start, besides Williams, Racing Point have actually overtaken us now, so we're the 8th team in terms of where we are in the pecking order, so we've really dropped down. So yeah, either way, now we're going to jump to Q2. This was my best lap of the session, and it was an insane lap, so let's stay on board with it. First of all, turn 1, throwing it in, really trying to break as late as possible and throw the car in, pick up the apex on the inside and get the power as soon as possible, flat out through 2 and 3, and sector 1 so far so good. As we now break down the downhill left-hander here, which feeds us to the right. It's kind of a left-right chicane, and then we go into the hairpin, and it's all about focusing on your exit here, in my opinion. Get that first gear rotation, and then on the power as soon as you possibly can, using some short shifting to really get the power down, and DRS open onto the back straight. And that was a pretty damn good first part of the lap, as we now let the Ferrari stretch its legs and let the engine do the work, as we now brake at the 100-meter board down to first gear actually to get again the rotation on the apex, and then focus again on your exit here. Try to get the power down as soon as possible. Use the curb on the left because it is quite easy to run wide, and you can use that curb. It's not going to spin you off, and it's quite a consistent curb. As we now go towards the end of sector 2, and surprisingly we're still up on Sergio Perez here by a fraction after 2 sectors. So I know I've got a good lap underneath me, and it's all about just holding it together in this final sector 3, which is where we struggled all weekend long. And so far, pretty good there through the Singapore sling and through the next left-hander. Now through the triple rights as we feed into the hotel section here. Big lock up on the front right. We actually run a bit wide there. We do hit the apex, but you want to take ideally a lot more curb than that through the right. But then we get a nice line through the next couple of left-handers, letting the car run wide on the exit, and now 2 more corners to go, throwing it in at the 50-meter board, attacking that inside curve absolutely fantastically there. And now the final corner, get third gear to get that rotation on the power as soon as possible again, keep the car to the left-hand side for the shortest run to the line, and we go P5, less than half a second off Sergio Perez in the Renault, which was quite surprising. And I was actually, I impressed myself, to be honest. And you can see on the screen, we was still P5 with about 4.5 minutes to go, and Sebastian Vettel down in P13 there. We've got a nice comfortable 3 to 4 tenth gap. But we're going to go out again because obviously we are at risk of getting knocked out. We are P5 still with 1.5 minutes to go, but others behind could still improve. But unfortunately for me, I made a mistake going through turn 3, turning a little bit too early, and we cut the corner and pick up an invalidation. Of course, strict corner cutting, paying the price, and we get done there for a corner cut. So P5 is going to be where it is for us, and now we hope that we don't get knocked out. But unfortunately for me, everybody else behind seemed to improve by quite a bit, and there was some big track evolution / AI track improvement, and we lost a lot of time, to be fair. I was quite surprised we actually got knocked out. I genuinely thought that lap would have been good enough to get into Q3, but in the end it wasn't, and we got knocked down. But the good thing is we are P11, which is good, because that's where you want to be in terms of the alternate tyre strategy, and we are going to start the race on the medium tyres already, I can tell you. So yeah, overall not too bad of a session. We out-qualified Sebastian by half a second, which is good, and overall really happy with that first lap. And I didn't think I was going to be able to improve on the second one anyway, so we got the maximum out of the car, and that's what you can ask for. But now we're going to jump into the race for the final round of Season 2 for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Let's get into it, and let's see if we can try and end this season on a high.
So here we are, ready to go racing for one final time this year. Another season of victories, controversies and rivalries lies in our wake. And just one challenge remains here in the United Arab Emirates on a circuit that made its spectacular debut back in 2009. Welcome to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. We have 21 corners here at Yas Island Circuit with 10 to the right and 11 to the left. It's a total lap distance of 3.4 miles. 2 long straights open up some passing opportunities into the chicanes, and we expect average lap speeds of around 123 miles per hour. Alongside me for one final time this season, it's Anthony Davidson. What a year it's been, Ant. It's been an absolute pleasure. And now, how are you feeling ahead of lights out tonight?
Well, it's been a breathtaking year of F1 action, and there's one more sting in the tail to come here tonight, I reckon. We've been all around the world, but there's still everything to fight for, and what an occasion it is as well. There's a real sense of anticipation every time we come here to Abu Dhabi, and here's hoping it's a fitting end to a very special season.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Great work from Lucas Weber yesterday sees him start from pole, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Leclerc, Sainz, Sergio Perez, and Norris, Magnussen, Raikkonen, Martinez, and George Russell, Butler, Vettel, Valtteri Bottas, and Verstappen, Stroll, Albon, Daniel Ricciardo. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And Antonio Giovinazzi, Gasly, and Daniel Kvyat completes the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Okay, so here we are then for the finale at Abu Dhabi. We actually start the race from P9, getting promoted 2 places after penalties behind to Gasly, I believe, and I think also Kevin Magnussen possibly. So, yeah, overall a decent start to the race already without even actually turning any corners and any laps, which is great. So that's going to help us out. We're going to get the free choice of tyre. We are going to be the most advanced driver with the free choice of tyre on the grid. And we are going to start the race on the mediums, as I mentioned before, in qualifying. And in terms of the race strategy, as you can see on screen. We're going to go medium, soft. There is an outside chance we could do medium, soft, but I don't think the soft is the best race tire. I think overheating is quite a big issue around here. So we'll see how we get on. It kind of depends on the first stint, how long we can take the mediums into the race, and we'll kind of judge it on the fly. But in terms of fuel, I've actually gone quite aggressive this race. Not in terms of going very light. I've gone quite aggressive in terms of putting a lot of fuel in, because I'm going to try and run a lot of rich mix this race, because it's the last race. We can afford to really just, burn the engine down and give it everything we've got. So we're going to run higher fuel and run a lot more rich mix. So 1.5 laps extra fuel here today. And like I said, the aggressive two-stop with the medium soft. Hopefully we'll be quick at the end, and we'll try and get a chance to come back at the AI right at the end of the race. But it's important to stay in the race as long as we can on the medium tyres in this initial phase, especially this first stint. With that being said, that's the scene. We've painted the picture. Let's try and end this season on a high note, and let's try and score some decent points. It's time for the finale of Season 2 in Abu Dhabi. Let's jump into it. Right, here we go then. Let's build up the revs and get ready for the 5 red lights. Lights out and away we go for the final time this season. Not a bad start to say we're on the mediums, down towards turn 1. Russell trying to make the move on the mediums. We're going to go back around the outside. He's giving me the squeeze. We're going to go on the outside regardless though at turn 2. Inside for 3. Side by side with Lando Norris here. Aggressive start from us. Getting stuck in straight away. Down the inside of Lando here at turn 4. Going to just go on the outside, and there we go. We make the move on the McLaren, forcing Lando into the bollard there. What a start from us off the line. We actually had a really good start for a change. Someone recommended me in the comments in the last few episodes saying to test out 100 on the differential just for the race start, and it actually worked out quite well. So thank you to whoever suggested that. I'll keep on testing that method to see if it does work. But really decent start there. Really happy with that one. And we're up to P8 on the medium tyres, which is good. We've got Raikkonen here battling with Magnussen. Let's see if we can try and get stuck in here early on. We're going to try and get a slipstream off of the Williams. A little bit too far back. Actually, no, we might be able to challenge it. Not quite confident enough on the mediums, especially on the brakes just yet. A little bit early, so we'll just sit behind Kimi for now. But P8, a good opening lap in this race, and we're going to see if we can try and have the race pace to hang in there. Russell behind us on mediums, so we're a bit of a Williams sandwich here, but hopefully it doesn't affect us too badly. Let's get on with it then. Let's get a move on. Let's see if we can have a decent race and hang in on these medium tyres. Bit of a battle going on in front here between Magnussen and the McLaren. Magnussen eventually gets the edge, but that's going to cost them time as we're still hanging in there, keeping up with Kimi here. Seems to be a bit of a pace difference, from Kimi onwards. I think everybody in front of Kimi is quicker, but we're able to hang on to the Williams on the soft tyres, as is George Russell hanging in behind me on the mediums. But for now, we're looking good. Tyres are working well. As Lewis sets the pace on 35.7 in the Red Bull. He needs to win this race.
Okay, entering lap 3 now. DRS has been enabled.
He needs to win and hope that Weber has lots of problems this race, but pretty much because Weber is the big favourite.
Okay, some information on Magnussen. They have an issue with their car. They're going to be slow.
Here we go, boys. Already Magnussen just in front of the McLaren. Car trouble for him. Hopefully we see a few of those. Cars starting to break down in this race. Putting the pressure on Kimi here a little bit. Kimi does go defensive, but we don't really have the pace to get by the Williams just yet. But I might challenge him on the next lap possibly. We'll try and use Magnussen as a way to get past. Again, try and shithouse our way through, as we have done in recent races. Kimi defensive into the final corner. He's going to be on the back foot here big time. He's got a toe on the cars in front, which isn't ideal. Tries to take the racing line. We're going to go on the outside of turn 1. Not much room there. Kimi giving me the squeeze. I'm going to have to get on the brakes there. Bit of a rude squeeze there from the Iceman. But the pressure's building. And we're going to see if we can find a way past. Magnussen's holding everybody up here, so it's important to try and find a way through. At the hairpin, we're going to take a bit of a wider line. Okay, here we go. Now we're going to get to stretch our legs. I'm pretty good on the straight. I'm running lower aero than I normally would. Let's try and challenge the Williams here. We're going to get a mega toe here. We're going to have to go to the outside. Follow Norris if we can, or Sainz, whichever McLaren it may be. Magnussen goes for the turn in. We're going to squeeze Kimi there onto the curb to stop him from getting the exit. I don't think we're going to be able to challenge Magnussen here. He's actually going to re-challenge Sainz.
We're at +1 lap of extra fuel. Fuel target +1.
Okay, good stuff. Let's see if we can make our way past these two cars now. Yellow flag behind. Oh no, is that
Okay,
Sebastian?
clear.
Actually, no, I don't think it is. It's a Renault, I think. I think it's a Renault. We'll confirm in a minute. I think it's a Renault though. No, it's a Racing Point. There you go, Bottas. Okay, so there's the first time of the race. So far, with 4 laps in, Magnussen's got car trouble, and we've had a retirement in the form of a Racing Point. Kind of sums up what I said before. You know, the cars are very, very poor now for reliability, and we might get a lot of things go away this race because our car's perfectly fine. Signs of Magnussen here really going very slow. I've got to try and get this overtake done. Hopefully we can get past both of them on this straight. Getting a good exit, a little bit of oversteer there, just right at the end, but we're much quicker than McLaren on the straight. We're going to power past. Hopefully we'll get Magnussen as well. Come on, Ferrari. We're going to switch to the outside line to take the racing line. Hot on the brakes, a little bit of trail braking there. Braking with the rear tyres, but we get the move done. And we're past a pair of them, up to P5, into some clean air, which is good. Let's just make sure we stay in front, and we can now push on and crack on with our race and try and get a move on here. So I think I can shake these guys. As long as Magnussen's behind me, I've got the pace to pull away. So let's try and open up a gap.
They're speeding up again, so I expect they've fixed whatever the problem was.
That's probably for Magnussen as we pick up our first track extension of the race. Good timing though, we managed to get past Magnussen at the right time, so now we've got to try and keep him behind. Hopefully soft tyres though should start to fade by now, so we should have the pace on him anyway. At least I hope to have the pace. Okay, Magnussen pits in. He's the first one of the big guns to bite the bullet and pit in. Probably to undercut me, but that's going to be an aggressive strategy from him. Okay, now we've got Leclerc and a Red Bull in the pit lane. We'll find out which one it is very shortly, but that Red Bull's already got a pit stop gap on me pretty much. It's Lucas Weber. We're going to come out just in front of Lucas, but not by much.
Data shows the tyres are okay right now. We anticipate good levels of grip for the next few laps at least.
So Lucas on soft tyres, he's going to be right behind me, so he's going to get past relatively quickly, I think. So we're not going to hold him up too much because I'm doing my own race here today. So we're not going to turn the engine up. We're just going to see if he passes me normally. I'll let him take the normal racing line so he loses less time. Because the AI on the inside line, they're a bit strange in terms of the lines they take, so we'll just let him go past normally. Because I've got a P5 on the table here and I want to take it, so I don't want to make any mistakes. George Russell's behind me now, he's the next car. He's the one we're racing here today. And I'm not sure what strategy I'm doing just yet. I've got an outside eye on the one stopper, looking at my tyre wear. 28 on the right rear. It could happen, but we'll see. Now Hamilton's in the pit lane along with Perez. Hamilton's leaving the pit lane right now. It's going to be close, but I think he's going to be just in front of me. So the Red Bull's just a level too quick for everybody here today, already it seems. I'm debating to go soft for the second stint. I think we could pull it off, I really do. We've got to get to lap 12 on these instead, which is fine. I've got 2 sets of softs, or technically I've got 1 fresh set. But my second set of softs only has 1% weight or 2% because it's the set that I used for my abandoned second run in Q2. So technically we've got 2 fresh sets of softs. So I think I'm going to go soft in the second and third stint. So we're going to try and stretch this first stint out a couple more laps. Okay, here comes Leclerc. He's going to be pretty quick. I'm going to cover the inside. Show him the long way around. He's got too much pace though. He goes clean around the outside on the soft tyres, so fair play. Interestingly, Perez behind is on mediums, so he's not going so aggressive on tyres. Meanwhile, in the Red Bull battle, as you guys saw, Hamilton's now behind Weber, so Weber's managed to undercut his own teammate. I'm sure Hamilton might have something to say about that in the debrief, seeing as Hamilton was in front. So yeah, Red Bull's doing their own thing, but at the minute, P4 looking comfortable here. Strategy's looking good. Look at on the minimap, Sebastian's actually managed to get away. You can see on the minimap there, he's the next car behind Perez, so Seb having a good race as well, it seems.
Sebastian is in the pits.
There you go, Sebastian pits in, and we're going to pit in this lap. I think Seb's going to go for mediums. I think he's going to go for the strategy that I was originally going to go for, but we're going to go for the alternate soft. Meanwhile, Perez here, looks like he's going to be the next guy to get past. Do I dare fight him because he's on the mediums, he's not as quick, or do I just let him go? Here he comes. Okay, let's just let him go, he's too quick. I'll let him take the inside this time for this one. And we'll just try and follow him as we're going to pit in this lap. Alright then, we're going to pit in, turn the engine down, into the pit lane. Have a good entry if we can. A little bit of drifting there on the power and slow it back down. There we go, that's a good entry, absolutely spot on. There's Magnussen on mediums making his way. He could be a threat, we're going to be battling him this race.
Complete, go now.
Good stop, inside 2 seconds, 1.999, that's what I'm talking about. Onto the soft tyres, fresh set of softs. Hopefully these don't overheat, that's my only concern. There's Kimi Raikkonen.
Up to speed now. Let's get some heat into those tyres.
Kimi's gone for the softs as well, so we're going to be racing Kimi here. Sainz as well, also on the soft tyres, so all the people that were racing have all gone for softs. It's going to be closer with Carlos Sainz. We're going to be on the outside, but we are going to just stay in front of the McLaren. And we're going to have fresher softs. Hopefully, it means you'll probably run mediums at the end, because he's been on those tyres for a bit longer than me. But let's crack on then. Let's try and stay in front of this McLaren. We're going to have to turn the engine up here and look at that good exit. Fantastic traction. And we're pretty good on the straights compared to the McLaren, which is still pretty poor. So we'll comfortably stay in front. And there we go. We've avoided the panic. I've definitely got my eye on the fast lap of the race, which we'll try and set on the final stint, because that's when everyone will be on mediums and I'll be on the softs again. So that's going to be when we try and have a crack at the fast laps. And we're going to try and keep some fuel on side for the final stint. Okay, we've got ourselves within Kimi's DRS. We've also left Sainz behind completely. So let's try and put the pressure on the Iceman here and try and retake P6. Good pace here, purple sector 2 as well. We are flying, although I did have a nice bit of DRS in that straight, but we've definitely got more pace than Kimi here. My tyres are fresher. Oh, Kimi locks up. That's going to be an invitation. If I've ever seen one around the outside. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Fantastic. Get in. Let's go. What a move. Up to P6, that's what I'm talking about. Magnussen in front. He's in the medium, so he's definitely going to be catchable, I think. We can do this. 36.4, good pace as well. We're flying here. These soft tyres are so quick. That's why I'm looking forward to the final stint when everyone's on harder tyres and we're not. That's going to be when the difference is really made. Let's try and drop Kimi now and leave him over a second behind. Another strong lap, 36.5. Kimi's now 1.6 behind. Let's see if we have the pace to catch Magnussen here. Another good lap, 36.4 again. Consistent pace on these soft tyres. They're nowhere near overheating, which is good. So we can just keep pushing at this rate. The pace is a little bit quicker than Magnussen, not a lot quicker. But we're still a little bit quicker than him and slowly catching him. I think if Magnussen goes mediums in the final stint, that's when it's going to be where we'll try and catch him and overtake him. But I think this stint's all about just trying to get close to him and try and put him under pressure. As I say, overheating issues. My front right is currently overheating. And the front right is the tyre that gets a workout around this circuit, so we've got to try and rein it in a little bit. It's absolutely frying, like easily frying. Magnussen pits in.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the softs.
We get to control this soft tyre a bit and try and do our own race. Got a couple of cars in the pit lane here, Perez and also Leclerc, but they're going to be in front of us. Again, too much pace. They're on the mediums again. We're going to rejoin just behind Sergio Perez here on track. I've managed to get my front right under control. Just to drive a little bit smoother, and it's paid off. Right, we're going to pit in this lap for the soft tyres. Again, it's going to be not a new set of scrubs there, but only with like 1 or 2% tyre wear from my abandoned Q2 run, so they're pretty much fresh. They'll probably be quicker, to be fair, because they'll scrub up the temperature nice and quick because they're a little bit used. Into the pit lane though, here we go. I think Seb's going to pit in this lap as well, so we might have to like semi-stack. I think I'm far enough ahead though to not cost him any time. Here we go.
Go.
Good stop once again, 1.9. There's Russell behind. He's going to come in for the soft tyres now, so the gap we have to Russell is the one we need to maintain for the rest of the race. There's Magnussen on medium, so that's the gap we have to try and catch.
That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops.
If we want to try and get P5 in this race, that's where Magnussen is, that's where we need to be. Sebastian stays out, he's going to be just behind us here as we rejoin the racetrack. Right then, so 2% wear on all 4 of my tyres, aka basically fresh tyres. As we pick up another track extension, a bit of a silly one there, just turning in too early. The grip caught me out. But let's try and catch up to that Haas and try and snatch a P5. We're also going to go for the fastest lap on the next lap, so we're going to charge everything up. ERS is fully charged. Fuel's okay, so we're going to save that for the next lap as Sebastian gets overtaken by Kimi Räikkönen. Alright then, let's attempt for the first time in a little while, I think since Sochi, to snatch away the fastest lap of the race and the extra point from the leaders as Sebastian pits in.
Sebastian's in for his stop.
Alright, 2 purple sectors. Is it going to be a purple lap? Let's find out. Yes it is. 34.5. I think that should be good enough. That was a very good lap. Got to Magnussen now, 4.1. We've really cut that gap down. I don't think we're going to pass him now. I think he's too far ahead. I think he's got too much pace, which is a shame, but at least we got the extra point, which is what I wanted. I'd be very surprised if someone beats that now. Gap to Magnussen, 3 seconds, but I think that's where it's going to end. The gap's kind of levelling out. The focus now is to try and keep the Williams cars behind. Both Kimi and Russell are on the mediums. I think Russell's on softs actually, and they're pushing hard and they've got good pace.
Some information on Butler. It looks like the problem is terminal. They're retiring the car.
So it's not over yet. One more retirement. Devon Butler in what could be his last race for Mercedes. His car breaks down. The durability issues too much. We're down to 18 runners now. Will there be any more twists in the tail in terms of reliability? Possibly the Red Bulls, you never know, but we're running out of laps for it to happen. Right then, here we go. Last lap of the race. The fireworks go off as Lucas Weber wins the race and the World Championship. His first Formula 1 World Championship. He's the first one to pick up the title out of myself, him and Devon Butler. So congratulations to him. And he's had a very good season. He's been absolutely dominant lately. And in red hot form, that Red Bull combo with him and Hamilton driving, probably the strongest lineup on the entire grid, has paid dividends. And they've won that championship fair and square in dominant fashion this season. For us, it's been a good season. I'm not going to complain, you know, considering we ceased R&D development a long time ago. We've had this exact same car for the last 6-7 races. We've done our absolute best, and besides Mexico, we've had some really good results, and I've got no complaints. And hopefully next season is the one, because regardless of whatever happens, next season will be my last one as a Ferrari driver, and we will move on. But here we go, up to the line, and season 2 is done. Grazie ragazzi, forza Ferrari, grande lavoro, grazie a tutti.
That's it, what a season. Great work this year, really great work. It's been hard at times, but we've come through.
It's certainly been an incredible year for Formula 1, and our drivers have all pushed themselves this season, making it one of the most compelling years of racing in history. There can only be one champion, however, and here they are now, our new Formula 1 World Drivers' Champion. Victory for the team from Milton Keynes then, after a quality performance. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
Well, I think it was clear what the main contributing factor out on the track was today: speed. I know it sounds like an obvious thing to say, Crofty, but fast cars win races, and we saw that today with our winner.
Right, so here we have the final race results for the final time in Season 2. Lucas Weber wins the race and the World Drivers' Championship in front of his teammate Lewis Hamilton, who comes home P2 in the end. Sergio Perez picks up the last spot on the podium ahead of Charles Leclerc, who finished P4, Kevin Magnussen P5, and we get best of the rest in P6. Very strong race from us, and very, very happy with the car and the performance here today. Picking up the fastest lap as well in the last race, only just beating Weber's time by 4/10 there on the soft tyres in the final stint. George Russell P7, Kimi Räikkönen P8. Very good result there for both Williams cars, coming very strong at the end of the season, and Ricciardo and Sainz scoring the final points. Lando Norris missing out on the points along with my teammate Sebastian Vettel, with Pierre Gasly only P13 in the Mercedes. And then we've got Verstappen, Stroll, Albon, Giovinazzi and Kvyat, with Butler and Bottas retiring from the Grand Prix. In terms of the standings for the final time this season, Weber 413 points. The only man is the 400 barrier and 25 points clear in the end of Lewis Hamilton. Lewis P2, and he's the only man in the 300s, because then you go down to me in P3 with 296. So Weber, very dominant, 117 points clear of myself, and very happy with that one, to be honest with you. We got P3, we secured it, and we got the bronze medal, if you will. Sebastian Vettel actually lost out at the PA right at the end by 1 point to Daniel Ricciardo, so unfortunate one for him there. But in terms of the constructors, we do finish in P2. But wow, Red Bull break that 800 barrier, and not just that, they outscored us by more than double. Absolutely incredible season from Red Bull Racing, and they completely deserve both championships, and hopefully we can come back stronger next season. And to come back stronger, we need to do lots of upgrades, and that's what we're going to do right now as we jump into the laptop. And I've been looking forward to this moment for a long time, so let's put some upgrades onto this Ferrari car.
Have you learned a lot from your battle with your rival? You left a lot of paint on the walls today. Were you struggling for grip, or did you just misjudge some corners? Well, thanks anyway.
Okay, so here we are then on the laptop, and we've just signed a brand new contract with the team, level 3 on all the bonuses, and qualifying and race position P11. That's actually the highest we could go to, because obviously they're taking into account Ferrari's the 8th quickest team, and we're quite towards the bottom of the table. So P11 in both qualifying and race, which is good for me. That works for me going into next season. First driver and team goal on hard as always. Now we've got 3,500 points to spend. The question is, where do we go? Now, I mentioned it before, and it's quite logical. I'm looking at the engine, and you want to invest in those heavy upgrades, which are not going to fail over the winter. So straight away, there's this triple major one, which I'm looking at here on the engine. So we're going to do all 3 of these straight away and put them on the car. So let's start off with these 3. And see how many points we have left. And once we've got those on, you can see the boost we're going to have in the engine department. And we've still got 468 points left, which unfortunately I don't think is going to be able to afford us any further upgrades if I just double check everything. And yeah, I don't think we can afford anything. So we're just going to save those points going into next season. But the good news is we've got a massive triple upgrade for the engine on the way, along with, of course, an ultimate chassis one, which we did in the last episode. So those 4 are going to be the upgrades, and fingers crossed, if the performance and the R&D goes well, according to how it should do, then in theory we should be above McLaren, and we should be closer to Red Bull than what we are to Alfa Romeo, hopefully. And we're going to keep pushing next season. We're going to keep on going hard with the R&D and just keep on improving the car as much as we can. But these upgrades are focused on improving the weaker side of the car in both the chassis and the powertrain. And we'll keep on pushing forward with the chassis next season. I think, if we go back into the R&D tree here briefly, the aero is full of minor ones, which is very easy to do. We can definitely push that. We're still, pretty competitive in that regard, but we are going to have to start doing these pretty soon. And in terms of the chassis, obviously, we don't have many available to us. We need to keep pushing the tree, so we need to get this one here for the tyre wear, which will unlock this ultimate one, and then we're starting to make some big progress. Then Sam goes down the bottom here for weight redistribution, but lots of different ways we can go, lots of different possibilities. The engine's looking quite tasty as well, because if we go over down the bottom for fuel consumption, or over the top for engine power / ERS, we're going to have these 2 big upgrades here, which are ultimate ones, which could be game changers for us when it comes to overall engine power. So yeah, we're going to keep pushing it and trying our absolute best. But guys, that is it for this season. Fingers crossed all of these upgrades arrive over the winter. They should do, I believe, when it's between seasons from Abu Dhabi to Australia, upgrades don't fail. So fingers crossed that's the case and they do come through smoothly. And yeah, hopefully all the investment we put into the R&D tree over the winter, in both the these parts here, which is the department efficiency and also the quality control, this all pays off because we've done quite a lot of investing here. So hopefully we do start to reap the rewards from that. But guys, that is it for season 2 of Career Mode. If you did enjoy the video and you enjoyed this season, drop a big fat like on the video, guys. I'd greatly appreciate it. Let's see if we can try and smash 500 likes, guys, for this video, and also subscribe if you are new for daily Formula 1 content, and also turn on notifications to not miss any videos from me. And finally, check out these 2 videos on your screen if you have missed them. But guys, that is it for this video, and I'll see you in my next one very soon. But until then, it's goodbye from me.